Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and in celebration and getting this brand new GST football, I'm going to go over how to throw a spiral, and the big focus that I'm going to go into in the video is going to be what are the key things to not do in order to throw a spiral. So, what are some of the mistakes that we'll see as we're doing the breakdowns and actually seeing people throw the football. And, the first thing that I would say is when you're actually throwing the ball, what you want to do is when you're coming through, the nose of the football wants to be facing towards the target. So if the nose of the football ends up facing off to the side at all and you're not able to get that wrist in that good neutral position, right? So that would be maybe number two, would be making sure that you're throwing with a C, right? So you can see how my hand is making a more of a C shape, right? Obviously I'm spreading my fingers out when I'm actually have the ball in my hands, but it wants to be more of a C shape, not a U shape. So when you're throwing it like this, you're throwing it with a U shape, and typically what we'll see is that we'll see guys that will have a U shape with the hand and also the nose of the football facing out to the side, and that is basically a double catastrophe of duckness that is going to happen within your throw, going to make it so you absolutely positively will not be throwing a spiral, or at least 95% of the time you won't be throwing a spiral. So making sure that you get the C position as you're releasing the ball and the nose of the football is facing straight ahead is probably the two most important parts of being able to throw a consistent actual spiral. Another big thing that we'll see that will cause people to not be able to throw a spiral is just not having the right grip, or the grip that doesn't work for them. So making sure that you're continually trying to work on how you're holding the ball to make it so it's coming off your hand in a way where it's actually leaving the index finger when it's leaving your hand, and really when it's leaving the index finger, it wants to leave like right on the inside tip here of the index finger. So it wants to kind of come right off that part of your finger. So if it ends up coming a little bit more off of the outside part, then that can also end up impacting your ability to really throw a spiral. So you really want to be a little bit more on the inside part, or even a little bit more on the top of your finger when it's actually coming off, and you'll feel it. You'll feel the difference between when the ball is coming off more of like the outside out here in comparison to when it's coming off of the inside part of your finger when it's actually releasing. So making sure that first it needs to come off your index finger, and then really the right part of your index finger is going to be very, very important as well. And then another thing that goes into throwing a spiral is that front arm and that front shoulder. So if you end up opening up that front arm and that front shoulder, that's going to put you a little bit more at risk for the nose of the football facing up to the side, a little bit more at risk for being in a little bit more of a U position. And those, as we talked about, are going to be two big ways that will end up impacting your ability to throw the spiral. And then also with that front arm comes like the head, and I think that those are like part of the same thing, right? So if you're throwing with your front arm coming off to the side and your head coming off to the side, then that's just not going to get you a nice, consistent, throwing spiral. And then even, when you're going into the deep ball, I think this would be an important thing to mention, just because we're talking about the C in comparison to the U. When you're throwing the deep ball, what you want to do is you want to think about throwing the ball with that C mark in your hand, and we could probably make a video just about this to make it so you get that nice nose dip, right? When you're throwing the deep ball, you want the ball to be coming down like this. You don't want the ball to be coming down, in these types of ways. You want it to be coming straight down. In order to do that, you only want to put a focus on throwing with the C motion in the hand instead of the U motion, because when you have the U there, that will make it so the ball doesn't come down straight. It'll come down more like that. So if you're struggling with getting the tip of the football to come straight down when you're throwing the deeper throws, it's a lot of times because of the actual position within the hand. So those are going to be the main reasons why you would end up throwing the spiral. I guess the last one that we can go into would just be the position of the elbow. So if your elbow's too far away from your body or too low or something like that, you're not getting that elbow all the way forward and through, that's also going to impact your ability to throw the spiral, at least consistently, right? So every once in a while, you're going to be able to compensate and get the ball to be able to throw or be able to work in a spiral where it's going to be going straight ahead. But something where you're dropping the elbow down or your elbow coming up to the cross, you might end up having the nose of the football kind of facing off to the side or facing down as it's going traveling straight, but it's facing in the wrong kind of direction as you're throwing. And so to get the ball to be actually going towards your target, that's going to be when you're getting that elbow all the way through. So I see guys that will end up kind of dropping their arm and as they're throwing, and then the nose of the football will end up also kind of tailing down and not going in that nice trajectory of, going straight towards the target. So, those are going to be the big things that will really make a big impact on your actual throw performance and consistently throwing a spiral. And I know for quarterbacks that's going to be, super important. You can have success by, not throwing consistent spirals, but it's a lot harder to catch the ball as a receiver if the ball is not, going in a spiral. So you want to make it easy for your quarterbacks to catch the ball your receivers to catch the ball in order to have the most success. If you like the video here, go ahead and like and subscribe. It's always very beneficial for us if you do. And if you want to find out a little bit more about our 7-day online throw program, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Go ahead and click the link below and get started with that. And we'll talk to you soon.